Houston, we have liftoff.
Hey, buddy, how are you, Fred?
Good.
Good to see you.
I know how you been. How's life over there? Day 6 of quarantine?
Oh, it's the worst.
Doesn't it suck?
Yeah, it's the worst. Hey, what are you doing? Are you doing anything exciting?
What are we doing exciting? The only thing I'm doing is I'm pitching. There's people who are looking for video producers, and I'm pitching them our service. But like, that's kind of it, dude. Other than that, we've just been sitting at home, like, not doing a whole lot. Almost nothing.
Well, yeah, I know. You're doing the right thing. It sucks, but we'll get through it. Everything film-wise here is kaput. Even the Paul Schrader movie, I mean, every single thing is kaput. But that's okay.
It's hard.
I mean, that's why we say
it's wild, dude. Like, everything is like completely shut down. I feel like I kept seeing articles on Deadline being like, Warner Brother, like, shows on the Warner Brother lot closing, shows over here closing. Everything is just like dried up, and it's like what we were talking about earlier. George was here like 2 days ago, and the Starbucks around the corner is still open, and so we went over there to grab some drinks, and they have a lot of it like sort of closed off, trying to keep like mobile orders. You go in, pick it up, get the hell out of there, kind of thing. But we chatted with the barista for a little bit because they're big horror fans, and so I'll talk to them about horror movies and stuff. And where was I going with that story? I know where we were going. We were telling him that because there's so many people not out on the streets, this is the perfect time to do Night of the Comet, Volume 2. You got the whole.
Well,
city.
not just that. You could pull it off for a song too. I tell you, it's just nice to talk to people, whether it's just like at the grocery store, whether it's, I just miss people more than anything. Just miss them.
Dude, it is. What the biggest thing that I've realized is how many people don't wash their hands. There's so many
dirty
people.
Bastard.
Dude, they're all dirty bastards.
Hey, there. Is that the Vertigo poster behind you?
Yeah, dude, I've been showing it off every live. I got it framed up real nice. Let's see how far I can get the camera over there. I got it right over there. Me and George, we actually did an episode of Cryferian, but we filmed it this time because we wanted to start doing it as a video series. And the way I set up the camera was I had the table like this, but pushed a little more over, just backed up a little. And then I had our automatic dolly on the other side. That way, the Vertigo poster was like the centerpiece of the shot. And it also happened to be that we were doing Hitchcock's Foreign Correspondent. So it all kind of adds up.
The funniest thing about that whole story about how me getting that for you is, remember, like, we're trying to explain Ohio State, Michigan to a guy who'd probably never seen sports before. And he was like, "Oh, okay, whatever. That'll be $30."
He was beyond lost. He was like, football,
sports. What is this you speak of? Is this a movie I haven't seen?
Was that released by what was the name of the company he owned?
Was that the Canon Film Group?
Yeah, was that the Canon?
I missed. I've got them all,
versus Michigan. When was that released?
Whoa, what was that? Is that a new release? What the shit? Oh, yeah. He was something all right. A lot of people will like, hey, man, I've got every Hitchcock film. This dude had every Canon movie. So
I don't buy it for 1 minute.
Neither do I. There's no way you own Vannon. No one knows. No one's seen that movie. No one owns that movie. The guy who made it doesn't even want to be associated with it. So.
I wouldn't mind calling him out. Like, I want to, like, pics or it doesn't exist. I want to see the fine photo showing that you own every single one of them.
I kind of sensed his bullshit, but I respect his passion. Like, he didn't even know millennials. I'm like, dude, it's like, I still work for the Canon people. I still work for Avi. I still work for the late John Thompson. So, yeah, he's lucky I was out of BS cards because I normally don't bring him to Los Angeles because I'd have been like, boop, right there.
You're here for
get a
pleasure,
BS
not
card,
for
so.
business.
Wasn't that such a great night though? Life Force was incredible.
Dude, so that was the one film that like because me and George we did an episode on it a couple weeks back when we had just saw it, so it was really fresh. But thinking back on it, like of how I was experiencing the movie, I kept thinking to myself, is this really a movie that they put money behind and made and went at it with 100% honesty? Like they were like, well, today we got to do the space vampires, and then tomorrow on the schedule we're going to do the post-apocalyptic London town.
Well, not just that. It wasn't just some money. They put a lot of money into all three of the Toby, because they gave him the proverbial 3-picture deal. It was Life Force, Invaders from Mars, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. And what was crazy is they released Invaders from Mars and Texas Chainsaw like 1 week apart in the summer of 1986.
Wow.
And it was like, what do you, because like the rule is, you don't compete with you don't split your own profits. You don't split your own,
right.
Because you're cutting into your own margins. But back then they just, I think it was, my friend, he's a historian, and he said the best thing about working for Canon is like they were just like a bowel movement. You just shit one out, and then you eat something else, and you'll have another one in about 30 minutes. And I was like, man, that's like reminiscent of my Sci-Fi Channel career.
Well, the crowd for a company that would just shit out films, the turnout all those years later to see it in 35 millimeter at an old theater was pretty goddamn decent. Like that was it wasn't a full crowd, but it was an energetic crowd. Like they filled the room.
I've done secret cinema quite a few times when I go to Los Angeles, and that's about the norm, about 100 plus people. But still, man, that's 100 people. And, the nice thing about living in Los Angeles, you probably got to go about 16 feet to get the print compared to have it shipped. Especially like how lucky were we? We got to see that UK cut, which people spend good money trying to find. And here we are. We got to see it for $6. We're screwing it.
And we didn't even have to drive that far.
No,
we just had to go right down to the Vista Theater, which I fucking loved. That theater is amazing. And you know what? Have you really given a good eye detail look at the Vertigo poster?
I mean, I did. Remember, it was in my possession for like a whole 35 seconds.
Dude, the little details that like they put on. Let me just grab it because this is my favorite thing. All right. Well, first off, they gave. Let me put my headphones back on. They do like little things here, like they put like Vista Vision, and then he even put in his own cheeky designs in there, but he made it blend in with the rest of the poster. And my favorite thing, Kim Novak, James Stewart, Kim Novak.
That's great. I never noticed that. I wish you guys, and mind you, I mean, it's balls early when they do the morning screenings, but I'm so used to being up that early for our Britannia Classic series. Mm-hmm. And I wish you guys could have came because it was all my friends from New Orleans who moved to Los Angeles. So I like it when good people meet to begin with, but it would have been really cool for you guys to see that. What made it really special was of the 4, only one of them had seen it. So
that's wild.
I know. So I'm like watching them and I've seen it a couple times. I saw it once in Super 70 and I've seen it a few times on the big screen. And I didn't have any fingernails left. So I'm like watching them and I was like, oh man, they're into this too. I was like, so what do you guys think? It's like, oh man. I was like, wow. It's like, so you guys never saw it? They're like, no. I was like, what? So that was half of the fun because I didn't see the movie till about 6 or 7 years ago. In Austin, we have this Paramount Summer Series, right, which is this series that starts in, I think, the last week of May and goes all the way to the first week of September. And every 2 days, you have new movies, and they're always on 35 mil or 70 mil. And then the reason they do them every 2 days is like one night I went and it was Aliens and Alien 3. So the next night it'll be Alien 3 and Aliens. But as cheap as they are, it's $8 for both movies. So a lot of people.
Wild.
No, it's great. I'll tell you, when I first moved to Austin, I think I was at that every other day. It was so incredible. And then throw in Terror Tuesday, Weird Wednesday, all those. But so I think it's either Hitchcock week or 70 millimeter week, but we always get the usuals, 2001 Lawrence of Arabia. But one year we got Vertigo in 70 mil. Man. And it was my very first time ever seeing that movie. So you just walk out and the whole world looks different. And my old boss was there, Robert Rodriguez, in his stupid cowboy hat. And every time he would get up, it looked like the Jaws fin going across. I was like, sit down, dick. And finally he did. But it was just an incredible night. On 70 mil, it's only one movie for $8, but
Still,
I guess technically it's 235 mil films.
You're right.
So you're not getting ripped off if it's Lawrence of Arabia or Singing in the Rain, or
you're still getting double the film.
You just be great anything, you sons of bitches. That's what I would say to them. But it's great, and slowly, because I don't get to Austin as much anymore because I discovered you guys in Los Angeles. But I make sure that at least once every summer I get down there to do that. Because honestly, man, that's like, when I first moved to Austin, that was just a cheap night. You go across the street, get a slice of pizza, and you get, your movies, and maybe get a Coke, and it's $15. And man,
the whole night.
Yeah, who was the big winner? Here.
You do a lot with like the Terror Tuesdays and all that other stuff, like with the local theaters. What are they doing now that all the theaters are shut down and shit?
Oh, I just got this horrible photo from a friend of everything on 6th Street in Austin getting boarded up.
Oof.
I mean, I think I told you I was on a deployment, and we were done, and we were coming back to demob, and we were still on active duty orders. So we went from one hostel place to Katrina relief, which was just as a hostel place. And it looks just like how Katrina was. Damn. I mean, it's just, it's, I don't know what to say. I mean, it's just, the Saints coach today got diagnosed with the disease, and it's crazy right now. And I'm sure at some point, I mean, everybody's probably going to get it. It's just
right. The governor of California came out. He was like, 50% of us are going to get it. So it's just like flip a coin.
And it's just one of those things where it's just going to pass through you as long as you don't, do anything stupid.
Right.
And for some people, that's just not easy.
Some people have a hard. Dude, there was a guy back in Springfield who went to the gas station. Someone had hawked loogies on the card readers at the gas station. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
What kind of asshole does that?
I have no idea. No idea. It's
awful, all those idiots in Florida. It's just, the only good thing to come about that is all the Jaws postings, from the mayor. The Vertigo shot of Chief Brody just sitting there. I mean, that's the only. I mean, you got to laugh about it to an extent. That's funny, but I mean, I'm not laughing because all those idiots. But I mean, what it's going to take.
Before we started doing this, Arnold Schwarzenegger posted a video of him in his jacuzzi. He's like, I'm just here smoking my stogie. Get out of the beach. He's like, stay at home. You idiots.
He's been really, really, really active. There's a lot of people that have been, but I mean, he posts stuff every single day.
Right.
And and while I'm not a Saints fan, I've got too many friends that live here. And Coach Payton had this amazing message today. He's like, look, I'm going to get through this. I feel fine. You're going to feel fine. You'll probably get it too. Just be smart. Just do this and do that.
Damn.
And now with like the entertainment industry, quote unquote crippled, a lot of my friends are really, really hurting and stuff. But I asked them, I was like, you guys, what did you do with your savings? And they looked at me like I was just like, what are you talking about? So when this is all said and done, I've talked to like our union and some other folks, and it's like, look, man, it's like we've got to teach people how to save.
Yeah.
We're the most blessed and fortunate people on earth. I mean, we make more in a week than most people make in a month, and we're the first ones complaining and screaming and yelling about financial help. So, and I know I probably sound like an uncaring, heartless douchebag, but I mean, it's just like we've got to learn. People have got to, especially in our industry.
Well, also you care. You it's because it's coming from a place like you care about those people. Because like when you work on set, like you do become like this little community of people having each other's back.
And it's just, I mean, I was a poor PA too, but I still managed to save money. And now that I'm in positions that I can make some quote unquote real money, I don't know. I mean, I always think, and the running joke was like, the bank account that you have that you can never touch. It's like, hey, look at my cool car that I can't go drive. Look at my bank account and all that money, which I can't spend. But I mean, it's just how it is. It sucks. It's great for stature, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, who knows? I mean, our film pushed again. We'll be lucky if we. Well, it's okay. I've got. If they do this relief that they're talking about, I'm probably like the only person. I'm probably like the only person that'll actually be making out instead of like everybody else. Like, look at me! I've got all this money now. But we'll see. And I've still got like my Army retirement. I know everyone's 401ks are shit right now, but it'll. Were you planning on retiring tomorrow? Let me answer that for you. No.
Negative.
No.
Negative.
We'll just get through it.
I did see that some of the Universal films are coming out this weekend. Oh, like The Hunt. The Hunt's coming out this weekend.
I'm so excited for you to see this.
I am excited to watch it.
You're going to have such a good time, and I've done a pretty good job of holding my tongue, but I can't wait for everyone who hasn't seen it yet to see how wrong they were. Because like, I mean, they'll never admit it because that's the great thing about social media and no one's ever wrong. But oh my God, so satisfying. Oh man, it wasn't about hunting liberals at all. I was like, oh wow, I can't believe that. The guy who worked on it was right. And even like some folks on Hollow Weekly, they're like, well, after they reshot the ending, I was like, no, bro, we didn't reshoot anything. What you saw is what you got.
That's
Nothing
crazy.
was reshot.
How did so many rumors come out about this movie?
Well,
like,
I mean, that's the thing. When you don't know anything about it and you just presume, I mean, most of the time you're wrong. And everyone saw the trailer, and the president made his remarks, and we offered to send him the script. We just, eventually figured he couldn't read, so I always joke that we should have sent him the storyboards. I just had it, explained it out.
That would have been easier.
That would have been crazier too. But I knew we made a good movie.
I'm excited to check it out.
I can't wait for you to check it out. And I'll tell you what, if they end up just giving, because a lot back in the day, you used to get a copy of your film too. I mean, it's how like we got our copy of Dark Knight that I had sent to Iraq. You always used to get a copy. Those days are long done. But I think they kind of felt bad because we had to do a do-it-yourself crew screening. So if they give us the codes, I mean, that's Blumhouse. It's just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. My friend Hunter was really disappointed. And I look like James Franco getting hung, like first time, huh?
First time, huh?
But it's just, I've done like 4 or 5 Blumhouse movies. We never have premieres. We always do it-yourself ones. And they're always memorable. And we always have a really good time. And everybody cheers and everybody does this. And honestly, Saturday, because Sunday was my parole day before the prison sentence started. So Saturday was like our last real chance to get everyone in a group
Right.
And the nice thing about, because everybody was so afraid of theaters, that we literally had enough for spacing for every single person.
That's nice.
And random people walked in and they had a blast, and that's great. We had such a good time, and I mean that's what it's all about, anyways. But
Did you get a chance to finish that? Then I'll ask you about Invisible Man.
I'll shoot you that text. I'll make sure you and Georgie get those codes so you guys can
rock and roll. Now we can definitely see it, because it sucks. All the that was coming out at the same time of all this shit starting to break out, and so we're starting to question so are the theaters cool or not? Did you get a chance to catch Invisible Man before all this shit?
Oh yeah, I loved it. It was so good,
dude.
So good.
That trailer did not wow me by any stretch. The trailer came out and I was like, it looks okay. It looks okay. But the movie knocked me out. It was so effing good.
That was one of those rare times where word of mouth actually helped.
Yep.
And honestly, you know how the trailer people and the film people never, ever, ever meet. And they don't care what footage they take, whatever. The trailer people, their job is to get your ass in the seat. The filmmaker's job is to keep your ass in the seat, and never the two shall meet. They don't care. They have Oscars for trailers. They don't care if they ruin the movie for you. That's not, they don't give a shit. They want you to go see the movie. And if they showed you the whole movie, oh well.
It's super counterproductive. It's really fortunate that word of mouth got out. People on Twitter and some of the horror people we follow were talking about how great this movie was, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, wait, based off that trailer, you tell me that movie's gonna be great? I kind of want to know what editing house did that trailer up. It's kind of for the next one, maybe avoid them.
Well, it shows you the power of an edit too, because the first Hunt trailer pretty much showed you the whole movie. The second Hunt trailer was made by some spiteful people, which I'll definitely watch that now. It wasn't afraid to take itself too serious. And I'm really excited for you to see The Hunt for the simple fact of how much time we spent on the fight scene at the end. It's very They Live-esque. It's very Quiet Man-esque. And you'd be like, fuck, they spent some. I mean, I came in on weekends for rehearsals. Even after I left the film, I was still, because you get a bond. Yeah, you get a bond with the certain, and they're like, you're going to be there, right? It's yeah. I was like, I'll do Looking for Alaska Monday through Friday. I'll come in on Saturday and Sunday for stunts. And a lot of times I just did it for free because, that's what you do. It's we're beyond coworkers now. Now we're friends. So you're to the budgets, but I would be there if you didn't pay me because, that's my friend getting thrown through the glass. I'll be there.
Just in case. Be there for moral support.
Whoops.
That's crazy.
We did this one movie, and the dude didn't tell anybody he was going to take a test run through the glass, and we only had 2 things of glass.
No
so
way.
I'm just walking by and I see this dude just crash through the glass, and I'm checking my walkie to make sure we're on channel 1 and everything's good. I'm like, oh my God, are you okay? Are you okay? Oh yeah, I was just doing a practice run. It's did you tell anyone? Because we only had 1 more pane of glass.
Oh my God.
And it was just, I thought we had 4. Well, you still tell people,
just break shit.
This one's for science, and then goes right through.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get to a film that I enjoyed. Speaking of, because the trailer for Invisible Man I thought was not good, but the movie knocked me out. Runaway, from start to finish, was amazing. I never heard of this film before you entered, and this was your 3rd film on the line. We were trying to watch Amazon Women from the Moon, and then
Amazon Women on the Moon, which by the way we did find.
Yes.
So now you can watch it. Actually, you've probably seen the best parts, because the greatest thing about it. And one day I'd like to find an edit of just the clips of the actual quote unquote Amazon Women on the Moon. because it's like, again, it's the last Universal movie, along with Son of the Invisible Man, which is epic. But you did see mainly there's a lot of hits in it, but there's some misses too. So you probably saw the best parts. But again, it's on the internet registry, so if you ever want to check it out. We started with that. We were going to do the Ghost Rider, but George's damn dogs took care of that. So it's like, well, hey, you guys, have you ever seen the movie Runaway? And you're like, what is this movie? And I was like, so glad you asked. And it just happened to be available. I just had it on the brain because I'd watched in my hotel the night before 10 fun facts about it. And I was just like, I wonder if these guys have seen this before. And then working with Stan Shaw on Jeepers Creepers and a few of the other folks on there, just felt like it was the right time to reintroduce it. And I'm so glad that you guys like that, because that's such an approval thing. It's like, oh, okay, good. As the resident old guy at Hallow Weekly, it's important that we pass on these films.
Your percentage of us liking a movie not only written by Michael Crichton but directed by Michael Crichton is A++. What's funny is after seeing this, I thought about this on my walk yesterday. Is now I can only think of 2 movies that I enjoyed immensely that were written and directed by authors. The first, number 1 being Exorcist 3, and then number 2 being Runaway. And
now,
Tom Selleck.
Have you seen Westworld?
I have not.
Oh yeah, he's so great. You've got to see that. It's so good, and it's funny too. Like just like with Runaway, how the world is today. On Westworld, like a computer have a virus. Who'd have heard of such a thing? This is poppycock, and it turns out to be a virus that ends up killing everybody.
Wow.
It's so great, and you've got such great actors too. Of course, the great Yul Brynner, Richard Benjamin, James Brolin's in it, Dick Patton. But it's just a really well made, and it's got some good scares, because we showed Westworld for Terror Tuesday, and I just felt spoiled that I was seeing this movie for the first time on 35 mil with a packed house with friends, and it's like, fuck, dude, we just paid $1 for that. We kind of fucking rule. So, dude, I can't wait for you to see Westworld. And who knows, maybe like we'll hold off and it'll be in a secret screening sometime when I'm up.
There's a lot of these from what you've showed George and I. There's so many like little indie theaters showing these 35 millimeter prints of like everything all the time. Like,
yeah. My friend's beautiful wife was the one. My friend Dan and I, our very first time to the Vista was a couple years ago to see Batman Returns, and she just, as much as I like to pride myself about knowing all these, she knows that much more. And she's like, "Oh, found you guys a screening to see." And like, "Oh yeah, we're doing this." And that's how I got involved with the secret screenings. And then, of course, Vertigo, introducing myself. And I wanted you guys to meet everybody. But, I mean, those were the same folks that were at the morning screening. So you can imagine by the midnight screenings, they're probably, a little less enthused. But it doesn't show in their intros because they've got a lot of passion.
But we did discover that they live, like, down the road. So it's
literally
a small world.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, I live upstairs. I'm the one. I'm programming this shit.
The one thing that bums me out the most about the quarantine thing was everyone sort of went in on like quarantine. Like it kind of started Thursday, and then like by Friday, everyone was kind of like, okay, let's hunker down. That was the day they were showing Jason X at the Vista. The 13th. At the New Bath. I can't believe it. I know. I didn't get to see it. I was pretty mad.
Well, that's the nice thing is like, those prints exist because they showed it in 2 different theaters on the same day. So it'll come back.
It'll come back.
Yeah. We'll all see it together. It'll be special.
It'll be a way more meaningful viewing. But Runaways, I was actually, it's so funny because like growing up like in the 90s and then like being like a teen during all like the reality TV show stuff. I started to like hate everything reality. And Gene Simmons had a reality show at the time, Family Jewels, and it always bugged me. I was like, you're supposed to be this rock star, and like Ozzy had his thing, but Gene Simmons as a villain, I buy it 100% of the time, all the time.
If you subtract those Kiss movies, which were terrible, it was his first real performance.
Yeah.
And he was just, and I'll tell you, you know, sometimes you watch like these Buster Keaton movies, you watch, how the hell did they do that? The bullet, the heat-seeking bullet, how cool trick photography was that?
That was a great scene.
It's just, how is it going through the pipe? How's it, I mean, to this day, I still don't know how they did that. It was just incredible.
There is
just, I mean, it's one of those things like I want to know, but I don't, because I just some stuff some stuff the magician should keep to himself, because that was pretty fucking cool, and all in camera too. That's what makes it, like, we never do that stuff anymore, and I hate it.
You know what's funny is, because I like all effects. I like the VFX. I like the practical effects. I just yesterday joined a practical effects Facebook group. And I actually shared one of their posts in the Hollow Weekly group about the effects that they did on the 1999 Mummy. If any place to go to find an answer on how they did it, that might be the place, because I think they're all film guys. They ask if you ever work on set, so that might be the place to.
Nick, I can't wait to send him photos from what we did on Wendy, because they're like, oh, so that was like, no, guys, that monster is real. Mother is real. So I've been showing folks that went to go see the movie, and they're like, oh my God, you weren't kidding. I was like, yeah, dude, we shot it on film. We went to locations. We had, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a little CG, because there has to be, because you can't keep people in physical danger for that long. But yeah, it's just like, no, folks, and so for our wrap party, our big premiere for Fox Searchlight, we actually brought the mother prop to the aquarium in New Orleans, and it has a big sign that says "Please touch," and it's beautiful. It's when the mother comes on screen on Wendy, it brought me to tears. I think it's one of the greatest moments in cinema of all time. And when you see the movie, you're gonna be like, it was the same feeling I got when I saw 1917. And there's that one scene where there's no dialogue, it's just music, and the flares are coming down. I was just like, and the score's called The Night Visitor. And once it starts, you'll be like, oh, that's the scene. That's the scene. Mm-hmm. And I looked at a friend the first time I saw that movie. I was like, that's one of the greatest scenes I've ever seen in my life. And it was the same thing with Wendy. When the mother comes out, you're like, oh my God. And it was great, because during the premiere, everyone started clapping, because we finally got the fucking thing to work. And I was like, my date was like, why are they cheering? It's like, because it's working. It actually is working this time. Oh, was that a big deal? It's like, yeah, it was a big one. Big deal. Because we had to keep reshooting it all the time.
The other effect, there was a lot of stuff in Runaways that, like, technology-wise, that they kind of got right about, like, how, like, some of the stuff today, like, the drone going into the house when there's that big standoff. Drone?
How about the disarmament robot that looks like the robots that we had in Iraq to disarm IEDs?
Yeah, that little dude was volleying through the house.
Just like, and then the dumbass camera guy. Oh, we sell plenty of those too. Oh, it's okay, bro. It's okay. No, go back. No, I'm all right, bro. I'm okay. It's like, you know, the robot doesn't care that you're. But yeah, the fact that, like, all the broadcasts were online, it was way, and I like the movies that don't tell you the time. Like,
right.
I was like, oh, so this is the future of, because that's one way to, I love Transformers the movie. But when it starts out with the narrator, like in the year 2005, every time I show that movie in the theaters, that's the first chuckle it gets. All you got to say is in the near future. That's
right.
it.
That's it.
And Runaway doesn't even give you that. It's like, hey, when do you think this takes place? I don't know. When do you think? The future, cool. Moving on.
What's great is I love it when films do that because obviously, like when anyone's watching it, they're gonna guess that the film was shot in the '80s just because there's some aesthetics that do date. But the fact that they don't give you a date, you get to sort of invent like a timeline in your own head, and then everything just makes sense.
Yeah, even like even like the takeout sushi, which in Los Angeles you just walk up and he jokes about, oh, look at that, that looks delicious. I mean, that's today. That's the world we live in. The heat-seeking bullet though was so fucking cool, especially when they cut it in half and they're trying to figure out like, hey man, it's like this is just a normal bullet. He lights the cigarette. It's like, oh nope.
And then it starts.
Like, it has your heat signature, and it's pretty cool.
There was one thing that I. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was. Go ahead, buddy.
There was one thing that I really liked in the film. There were certain shots, like with the cinematography, they would do like a medium shot, and for some reason, it just, I don't know like what kind of lens it was, but it just looked way different than everything else in the film. But it looked really gorgeous when they would talk. Like it was these beautiful shots, and I kept thinking to myself, like, damn, this movie has some like really pretty shots in it, and it's just dialogue scenes. Like it's not like landscapes or anything. It's just people in like a police office. I'm like, this looks like you could paint that and hang it on a wall.
Yeah, he always would get, and again, that makes me really excited for you to see Westworld. Gorgeous cinematography because they've got 3 different landscapes in that movie: Westworld, Roman World, and what's the? I think it's either Future World. I can't remember. Future World's actually the sequel, but I can't remember what the other one. So that's 3 different looks you have to give the film, and then when the machines take over, the look is all combined. So you have like the Yul Brynner character walking over all these dead Romans, and it's like, oh man, it's great. It's just Michael Crichton. He made good movies. He made gorgeous looking movies, and the movies were never had to be dumbed down.
Right.
They were always kind of like, you catch up to us because this is where we're going. This is what we're doing. There's still humor in it. But it's still on the, there was a reason why Runaway was in the horror section. There's a reason why Westworld was in the horror section. I mean, they're still scary movies. Those spiders in Runaway, those things are creepy.
Dude, those things, like the fact that they were just like these autonomous things, like doing their own job. But then when someone sort of gets in their way, they all just like sort of change focus. And they're like, we got to get rid of this guy so we can get back to work. Freaked me the fuck out. And the fact that Tom Selleck's character in the film is also terrified of heights. I'm scared of heights myself. So that scene when the elevator's going up for like 8 years, just shooting up, and then you have these spiders crawling around trying to kill you. Nope, that scene was horrifying.
And also too, it leads credence back to the one that got away. There was a reason why he brought him to that building. So it literally comes full circle. But Gene Simmons, in the mid to late 80s, he was the go-to villain, and he was so fucking good. His delivery, his eyes, and it was the first time when they have their little tiff at the Japanese restaurant where he kind of loses, and you're like, oh, okay, well, this is the first time this guy's been dealt like this, and all right, cool. So he can get outsmarted, he can get beat, he can get this, but nope, he was just setting you up. He was always a step ahead of you. Predated the Joker almost.
Michael Crichton is wild. The other scene that I really liked was the car chase when they had like the little drone that was going like 60 miles an hour.
How they all the bugs and everything. Sadly, we don't have those lasers yet.
No, not yet.
But that was actually used later, Nick, on a Clint Eastwood movie called The Deadpool, where they did the car thing again. The tiny cars. So it was actually pretty clever, though. Just draw out your guys and like, hey, so-and-so has got this and this and this. And like, oh, okay, well, what better way to bait them out than with live bait? It worked.
What did you think about what was the name of like their little Rosie the robot they had at their house? The one that was like cooking and cleaning and
I can't remember her name, but oh my god, she was she was something. How she would oh God,
Lois.
she
Was it
was like
Lois?
the
That's what they called her?
yeah Lois. She was like the futuristic robotic mail away wife, and she
She-
is literally what's your if she was like a superhero, what's your ability? The ability to nag you to death. I'm like, oh, it's work. But she was pretty cool though. I mean, she was essentially the first Roomba, you know.
Yeah, and then when she got pushed over, I remember George like being like kind of emotional, like she got hurt.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Is like Gene Simmons' character doesn't care about anything. The very first time I saw it as a kid, I thought that he was going to put one of those chips in her, and she was going to try and kill them.
Mm. Oh, that would have been good.
Yeah, I saw this in like the summer of '85 on VHS at a friend's house, and I'm like, it was an incredible day of cinema for young Garin Sparks because I saw this for the first time, and then after this, we saw Halloween for the first time, and
Wow.
I was horrified. I was terrified. Thank God I was staying the night there. Oh my God. I was
Jesus
like, geez.
Christ.
Yeah, dude, I was just shaking with fear. But it was
Also, Kirstie Alley as the love interest. She was great. There was no bad acting in this whole movie.
no, they were all, and most of the time little kids get on your nerves. He was a good kid actor.
Yeah, everyone. Honest to God though, it still blows my mind that like because I was looking up like what all Tom Selleck's been in, and he has this whole line of movies. What's the name of the? I had it up over here. Tom Selleck. Okay, hold on. Tom Selleck. Jesse Stone. There's these movie series he does called Jesse Stone. I don't know if it's like a Tom Clancy thing or whatever, but there's like 30 of them.
Yeah,
and he's been in a lot of television.
a lot of television. You know, because he was the first choice for Raiders of the Lost Ark. He was supposed to be
really?
Yeah, yeah.
Whoa.
And because of Magnum PI, he couldn't do it, so Harrison stepped in and was the guy.
I could not imagine.
You guys, you're probably too young to remember Chippendale's Rescue Rangers.
I remember that. Yeah.
Okay, do you know why they're dressed like that?
Is that because of the Hawaiian, like the button up?
Yep, one is Magnum PI, the other is Indiana Jones.
Wow.
Oh, how crazy is that? They were ahead of their times too.
I can't believe that. That was crazy.
But Tom Selleck, I'd seen him in a couple Weird Wednesday movies. He was in Penitentiary Island, which is incredible. I saw him in this wasn't Weird Wednesday, but when I was in high school, The Drive-In. I saw him in Quigley Down Under. You know, he made those great 3 Men and a Baby movies. For a long time, he was probably one of the very best at picking good roles between. Because I work with like a lot of actors that work on TV shows, and during their hiatus, they'll get to do one movie. And he was always really good at, you know, a lot of times like, oh God, this was the one. But he always had a really good sense of picking that right one.
That's crazy.
It's a skill.
That's got to be. That's a skill too. I feel like nowadays there's like a formula or an algorithm people crunch numbers in to see like which film they should go to, which is gonna be the best bang for their buck.
Nick, we get a lot of the Walking Dead actors here, and they will a lot of times during because they get decent hiatuses. That's a year-round job, so they'll get like a month and a half hiatus between because you know they shoot in. They shoot for so long that it's normally 6 weeks off, 5 months on, 4 weeks off, and then the rest of the year. So we had done a movie a couple years ago. Last movie I worked on in 2017, and it was made by one of the ladies, one of the quote unquote trash ladies. And I think she brought at least a third of the Walking Dead cast and crew to New Orleans to film it. On their hiatus, their winter hiatus. And I met so many, and Walking Dead's my favorite TV show. So I got to meet, and I just came in to help a friend out before Christmas. Because I'll be honest, I was on my way to Austin. For my little Christmas runabouts, and it just happened to be on the way to Austin too. So did those couple days, and then went on my way to go for Christmas and stuff. But it's just like, and that movie was awful, just terrible. So it was the reverse Tom Selleck. Just like, oh man, it's like you did Runaway on your days off, and I'm like, oh well, you're doing Darling on your days off, yay! But just because it wasn't that great of a movie, I mean, it was still a great experience. But he was just like, Tom Selleck is an actor in general. Whenever he would just need a jump start in his career, hey, I'll sign on for that character on Friends. I'll go do this. I'll go do that. And he's just, I mean, that's why he's in his 70s and still has a #1 show. My parents fall asleep to it every night.
Yeah.
He's just.
And you know what's funny is it's weird to think of anyone else playing Indiana Jones, but like after hearing you say that and like reflecting on Runaways, because like that's really the only Tom Selleck thing I've ever seen. He does have this like you trust him, like you believe that he's gonna get whatever needs to be done at no matter the cost. He's gonna knock it out, save the day, be the hero, and be charming as a motherfucker the whole time.
There's two things in my film career that I want. I want to see the original Lee Brackett, Empire Strikes Back, first draft, and I want to see the screen test of Tom Selleck as Indiana Jones. I know they're out there. I will find them one day, but those are like my two that I really, really want to see because I think they could be pretty memorable. And like I said, I'm sure they're out there somewhere.
Somewhere in the Amblin offices. It's gonna be one of those things like the Raiders of the Lost Ark, that big golden thing. That's where the tape is.
You know what's funny? It's probably on like one of the Raiders of the Lost Ark special editions, and I'm just too lazy to go reference it. But the Lee Brackett script for Empire Strikes Back, I would do anything to read that. I think that would just be. Absolutely.
I've never heard of this. So what's supposed to be different, or like what's the idea?
I don't know. I have no idea. But Lucas was nice enough because she died before she could do the second draft. So I don't know how much is actually in the actual Empire Strikes Back. But I would love to read where they were going to take us. Because John Ford has this great Lee Brackett story where she walks up to him. He's like, hey, I'm Lee Brackett. And he was like, oh, hey, you're a woman. And he's like, yeah. He didn't know that this incredible writer was a woman. Just hired her on her reputation. So that's the thing. It's nice to be wrong. And who cares, man? Female, it doesn't matter. She's like one of the greatest screenwriters of all time. She's the sheriff. John Carpenter named the sheriff after her in Halloween. And her name is, a lot of people know that name as a character in movies because it's been used so many times compared to her screenwriting. But I would, yeah, that's on my film list. I'll find it.
Let me ask you this. Since we've been on quarantine, have you gotten around to any films you've wanted to see but haven't had time to?
I watched my friend's film last night called also starring Austin, which I'd wanted to see, but I just missed because you know, I mean, we're busy, and you always hate not seeing your friends' films.
Right.
My last day before I went into quarantine, I got to see Paths of Glory for the first time on the big screen, and I'd never seen the movie ever, so I was just like, and then later that day, I went to go see King Kong on the big screen. Damn. So my last day of cinema, I made count. And then I had Whataburger twice in one day. Like, fuck it. I'm going out with a bang.
I need to hibernate.
Yeah, it's like, see you in 6 hours, 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Shut the door. Come back, I've got like $12 trillion worth of checks. All void after 30 days. I'm like, damn you. Son of a bitch.
It could have been.
Yeah, they're all like my SAG checks for like my Boyhood scene where I average like 38 cents a check. I'm like, ugh, suck it. Going straight to taxes. So I saw those. I saw also starring Austin. And there's this series that I discovered on Amazon. This monster series. I did part one, which of course was Universal, which I probably could have told them more than that show told me. But I started the Hammer part, and then it goes to the slasher one next. I'll send you the link for them. They're pretty entertaining.
That sounds great. There's a few horror documentaries I wanted to check out. There's one on Shudder that I've really been trying to make time for, Horror Noir. That one looked amazing.
Well, you and I have sat through enough horror noir. The last time that we went to that film series, Cat People, I rank that as horror noir. You know what I would consider the haunting?
Boring.
Horror bore.
Horror bore.
Well, I mean, yeah, horror bull too, but horror bore is more like it.
Dude,
I did more movie in my seat in that movie than I'd ever. And the thing that bothered me the most was, why couldn't have that been the one after lunch?
Right.
You know, in pro wrestling terms, we have the popcorn match, which is the first match after intermission, and that's the slow match. That should have been the haunting, because I wanted you to see all of them, because it wasn't fair, because them is really good, but the first 20 minutes that we missed, that's the most important part. So I felt like we kind of jobbed you on that, so apologies. And then we made you sit through the haunting. Apologies,
dude. I got so excited when the haunting was about to start, because like they like expanded the curtains because they were going to show it in like that super wide format, and I was like, oh, this is going to be great. And then like 45 minutes into it, I look over and like you're kind of dozing. I'm like, well, if he's dozing, I think I'm gonna take a little nap, little siesta myself.
Just like, that's when you like look over at audience people that are asleep and you're jealous of them.
I know, you're like, I just want to be asleep right now.
This is the worst thing ever. But thank God for Cat People. Those dudes, they do such a good job of like reading the audience. But I really wish that the haunting would have been, because honestly, we could have come in 20 minutes later and not missed a damn thing on that one.
Wouldn't matter. It just would have been that woman screaming, doing that one scream over and over for a little while.
But yeah, that's the bad thing. Like I said, because I felt like we kind of gypped you on them, because honestly, man, that
was still amazing though.
It is. It's
that
such
was still a good viewing.
And that's Nick. I saw them at the summer series. Check this out for double bill. We had them and the original Godzilla.
Ooh.
I know, both on 35 mil. Yeah, and I brought the only bad thing about Terror Tuesday sometimes was, you're like, man, do I want to catch both the Paramount movies, or do I want to leave the first one and go to Terror Tuesday? So my friends wanted to go to Terror Tuesday, and I'd seen Godzilla first, so thankfully them was the first movie. And my friends walked out of it, they're like, dude, that was incredible. It's like, yeah, it's like I told you. It's like it's a really, really, really good movie. And they're like, man, it's like, I don't even know if I want to see, because a lot of times I suffer from this. I've gotten better over the years. But if I see something so good, I really, A, don't want to see anything else the rest of the day, and B, can't really process any. Like, thankfully, when I saw Vertigo in 70 mil, there was no other movie the rest of the night. There was no Terror Tuesday. There was no second feature, so I could process what I just saw, and it was like, fuck, that was.
Yeah, sometimes you need that time afterwards to just like let it digest.
Well, Tommy was impressed that I sat through all 7 Universal movies, but I had told him, except for Murders in a Rue Morgue and the one we saw, not Black Cat. What was the Lugosi Karloff movie that we saw together? The Raven. So thankfully, out of the 7, I'd seen 5 of them, and the Universal stuff, they're pretty easily processed.
Yeah,
and they're so much fun. But he's like, you sat through them all? I was like, yeah. I was like, but Tommy's like, I'll be honest with you, during the Raven, or not during the Raven, during Murders in a Rogue Morgue, I didn't like it. So I won't lie. I probably slept through most of it. It's like, what was after that? I was like, Son of Frankenstein. He's like, oh, he was like, yeah, I wasn't gonna leave for that. That's what you. And again, they were smart. That's what they ended on.
All right.
That was like the really, while they were in movies together, that's the last really great Lugosi Karloff movie.
Mm-hmm.
They'd done Body Snatchers. Like there was one, if Runaway wasn't an option for us, I was going to show you guys Black Friday, which is a Lugosi Karloff movie where they literally don't even have scenes together. They're not even in like, oh man, they're not even like near each other. But that being said, I mean, book your stars, and it's
Right.
a Lugosi Karloff movie. But that was going to be Plan D if we didn't do that. That or the Black Castle, one of those two. Because not only are they on YouTube, but they're just so much fun.
No matter how
They're
you
so
slice
great.
it, there was going to be a good movie in there one way.
That's right.
One way or another.
George's dogs are going to get walked. It was happening.
It was going
Maybe a little sooner, maybe a little later. But I can't wait for you guys when I come back. I can't wait for you guys to see The Ghost Rider. It was my, and I'd worked on a couple movies that year that got Oscar noms, True Grit and Rabbit Hole, but Ghost Rider, that was my favorite movie that year. It was so good, and I can't wait for you guys to see it.
I'm excited to check it out. All the films you've recommended so far have been highly enjoyable. There hasn't been even the Red Clover was a blast.
I know it was. It was on yesterday.
I can't believe that.
Yeah, it's always on the Sci-Fi Channel. They put it on every year. They have for the last 8 years. One day they did it all day. Just crazy. Yesterday was every other day. So thank God. So you stepped out.
Time to recover.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, that was a film. It's like, well, it's showing in 2 hours. Like, I'll be ready. But yeah, it's such a good fun. Even a movie like even the movie I showed you guys, Hard Ticket to Hawaii. I'm glad you guys like that too.
Yeah, that was a blast.
That movie's so much fun. The Wraith is so much fun.
I would watch Hard Ticket to Hawaii. I would watch The Wraith at like a midnight screening.
I want to take you guys to see The Wraith on 35 mil because that soundtrack, that score, that mix is incredible on the big screen. I've seen it quite a few times on 35, and it's a different experience. And that's saying a lot because your TV is really nice.
It happens to just be good enough to where it's like we get like half of the experience. we just gotta get that Dolby Atmos like $3,000 setup around.
I wanted to tell you, I went to a theater in Dallas, and I'd brought all these kids with me who I work with on Looking for Alaska, and the Texas theater is an incredible theater. They still show everything on 35 mil there. Mm-hmm. And it's the theater where they caught Oswald after he shot, after they shot Kennedy. Who is that? Who are you communicating to?
Alex just kicked down the door and went, stick them up. Finger guns. Please.
Reach for the sky. But yeah, I felt really accomplished taking people to see movies that had never seen a movie projected on 35 mil before.
I'll be honest, it hits different when it's up there. Like I don't know what it is. It's just it just looks, it has a different feel to it.
It really does, and I was so vindicated because we did a double bill. We did Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. We did Army of Darkness. Probably two of the greatest endings in cinema history.
Those are very good.
They are, and what better way to like introduce them to and Tarantino and Sam Raimi in one night? So they were like, yeah, it's like the colors were really sharp, it was really vibrant, and it was really grainy, and it was great. It's like, wow, kid, it's like, you know, you can see stuff like this all the time. You really, I don't know. I even in Louisiana, we still show stuff on 35 and 70. We're getting ready to do, I don't know when it's going to happen now, but we're getting ready to do Nolan's film in 70 mil again. And God, in Los Angeles, just walk in a direction, you'll find a theater. And so in Texas too, even my old state of Indiana, we have revival houses that show stuff on 35 all the time. Hell, I loan them my prints. I loan drive-ins my stuff. I loan all that stuff.
That's
like
awesome.
For the Max. Well, yeah, they're just sitting there. As long as I know you'll take good care of them. Just I feel bad charging them shipping, but I'm not paying for that.
Nice.
If I go that way, I'll bring it with me.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. I would do that for. Oh God, I did that for Terror Tuesday all the time. We would show my buddy Leonard's prints,
mm-hmm.
and I would I'd either have a gig in Austin, or I'd have something up here, and I would just grab the prints and bring them back with me. My car looked like Fred Flintstone's when he orders that rib on the side.
Oh yeah, just like.
Oh my God, my Audi. Leonard came up to me. He's like, yeah, it's like, I got 23 prints. I'm like, no. Because there's this giant ramp you have to go up and down to get from Louisiana to Texas. And I could just see my car's transmission either dropping or bottoming out. So one time it was so bad, I literally put half the prints on the side of the road, went up the hill, dropped off the half, came all the way back around, and that's
Jesus.
How people don't understand how heavy that shit is. And I came back, I'm like, dude, never again. I am not doing that again. He's like, well, what do you say to this? And he gives me $20. And I was like, no, I don't want your stupid money.
What a follow-up. What do you say to one of these crispy boys?
Yeah, I was just like, it's like that interrogation scene of the Naked Gun. Well, what about now? It's like, and they're both trying to bribe each other with each other's money.
I just watched that 2 days ago.
I got to ask you, have you watched the Police Story episodes?
No.
Okay, I'm going to send you the link for all of them on YouTube.
Oh, cool.
You are going to die laughing from these. I mean, I can watch them and they just make my side hurt from how funny they are. Police Squad only lasted 6 episodes, but good Lord. The funniest thing about them is the guest host who dies in like the first second of the show. And they're big name actors too. You'll be like, oh, and starring William Shatner. He gets killed off screen. It's so good. But you'll see where like a lot of the humor went. But they never duplicated how good these were. So I'm gonna send you.
I'm excited to check these out.
You're going. Oh my God! You're gonna absolutely die with laughter.
That's awesome.
George will love these too.
We'll send those over. Let's wrap this episode up because then I'm gonna take a break and then go live in the group, see what everyone else who's in quarantine has been up to.
I know they'll appreciate that because everybody's just looking for some company right now.
That's what I'm saying. So, well, I'm glad we got this one in the can. This was a good episode. So hopefully you're stocked up and we can watch some stuff and get some watch parties in the group and do some community stuff while everyone's locked up and hopefully just try to do a little partying in the meantime.
Something like that. Well, the nice thing about it too is worst case scenario, if we're looking for stuff to talk about, we still got the 7 movies. We still got the Universal ones.
Got a lot of stuff.
All those to talk about too.
We still got a lot of stuff. So awesome. Well, thanks for taking time to hop on this episode. We love it. And
thanks for having me, buddy.
And I will see you. I'll probably, if you're around, join the live stream, and I'll see you again here in just like 15 minutes.
Good, brother. I'll talk to you soon. All right. You guys be safe.
Later, dude.
Take care, buddy.